How to with Natty Lou.
Hello, and welcome to this episode of How To with Natty Lou. Today I'm going to show you how I made these goggles, which are for a cosplay I'm working on of Batman the Dawnbreaker. Okay, here's the reference picture that I'm following. This was taken from an advertisement on my Instagram by Sideshow Toys. All right, so that's what I was going for. Now these were kind of an experiment for me. Some techniques I used worked, some didn't work as well. It was a lot of fiddling with, but you can see how I did it. I started off with some styrofoam balls that I attached with this needlepoint plastic that I love to use. And then I cut out some pieces of EVA craft foam, the super thin stuff, and I formed it on top of here. Okay, I had to make some slits in the craft foam and then glued it with my barge contact cement, used my heat gun, and got it to there. Sound effects are necessary. Okay, so now I've got this. Now I'm going to try to figure out where to put my pupils on my goggles. So I got some bottle caps, and I'm just trying to figure out the best placement for these so that the eyes look forward and not like all crazy walleye or cross-eyed. So that will be my next step. Alright, I think I've got a good place figured out. Now I'm just going to push these down really hard so they leave an imprint in my foam. Okay. See, they sort of imprinted on there. Now I'm going to cut that out because then I think that'll be easier to follow than trying to do it on top of the plastic later. It's not going to be super easy to see because they're a little far apart, but hopefully it'll work. Alright, so now I'm going to take a piece of Fibra thermoplastic and melt it over the top of this. Boop, like that. And hopefully it will take on the shape. It's going to take on some of these lines too, but I'm hoping I can fix that later. So, we'll see. See if I can fix that. We'll see. Alright, so now I've gotten this not as smooth as I want it in the end, but at least I've got a good starting point here. Like this. And now I'm going to make the little eye pieces that stick out a little bit here. So I've got a piece of foam cut that's the width I want, and I'm basically going to make little fibra sandwiches. Okay, similar to this, but a little flatter. So I just got to heat this up a little bit more and continue on that. Okay, so now because fibra is self-adhesive, when it's hot, it sticks to itself. You don't need to use any kind of glue or anything. So I'm just going to heat these up and attach these on here like so. Okay, so now I am just going to continue to smooth these and work with them a bunch until maybe, hopefully, I'm happy with them. So, I won't make you watch. Alright, so my next experiment to get these as smooth as possible is to add some wood glue that I can then sand down. Sanding the fibra by itself worked to some degree, but it's so thin that I didn't want to, wear holes in it by sanding it down. So I figured I did first a layer of wood glue over the whole thing, pretty thick coat, and then now I just went in after that dried and am putting it in the areas that are obviously more uneven. And I'm not worrying too much if this is totally smooth because I will go in and sand it later. See, it says it sands easily, so I'm counting on that. Alright, so now I have taken these. After I did my wood glue coat, I decided to sand it, and I got this fancy new Dremel yesterday for my birthday, good old Harbor Freight. And so I've sanded this down pretty smooth with the Dremel. Obviously there's a lot of thin spots now. What I'm going to do is take just regular fine sandpaper to polish it up a little bit, and then I'm going to put another layer of the wood glue on before I paint it. But this is much smoother than it was after going over it with the Dremel. So whether or not it's going to be perfect, well, I know it's not going to be perfect, but at least it's going to be a lot better than it was.
So here's what we're doing. We're sandpapering it right now, and you can see how you can do it. With we can get a video how my mom made it, so you can actually make it.
Yeah.
Expected. We're not using a green screen. We're actually in the backyard.
Yeah.
Our backyard.
Also our workshop, huh?
Yes. We work here.
Scary. Alright. I think that's a good coat on there.
I'm gonna get a wood glue on me.
Yeah, you should probably go wash your hands.
Before it dries up.
Yep.
And then
So I put 2 more layers of wood glue on the top of this to smooth it out. It looks not great right now, but it feels smoother than it has ever before. So I'm going to call this good. I also then marked some points that I wanted to grind down with my Dremel. So I had a grinding tip on my Dremel, and I wanted to get a nice point on the side here. So I ground that to a point and then took it in a little bit on the nose just so it fits a little closer on the bridge of the nose. Now what I'm going to do is heat up some scraps of thermoplastic, and I'm going to attach these in here so that I will be able to attach this to the mask. Because, yeah, that's important. Obviously, they're not just going to float on someone's face. So I'm going to attach these into the back like so, and then I can attach them with a loop of elastic or whatever, just sew them directly on without having anything on the outside that shows. Okay, so here they are, spray painted, and then I added a little bit of dimensional painting just with acrylic on top of the spray paint. I've got all my little connectors attached on the inside. Now all I'm going to do is spray it with a clear coat of varnish, acrylic, whatever, clear coat stuff, and they'll be all done. And the goggles are complete. Got a nice shiny coat of this on top, just to bring out the color, really make it look nice. And then this will eventually go with this mask that I made. And there's going to be a full, like, Batman mask underneath that this will attach to. So that's the next step. Yay! Well, thank you for joining me on my How To with Natty Lou goggle adventure. If there's anything you've learned, I hope that it's not to give up. If things are looking awful and you think you should give up, it can usually be fixed. You can just keep on working until you get something that you're happy with. If you've made it all the way to the end of this, you are a true friend, and I thank you. If you want to see more from me, please subscribe, and I will be posting more of these videos of my experimentation and adventures in cosplay and costuming in general. Thank you! Have a good day!